So I think none of you has questions around
Yes, sir.
on page SEO, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll be stepping into site level SEO, not off page, site level SEO. Okay. So mostly people would segregate all of these things, whatever we are going to discuss on site level SEO. They might either segregate some of them to on page and few other to technical SEO, right? So site level SEO is a less used terminology. Okay, they push it mostly. They will push it to technical SEO or on-page SEO. Okay, so we are going to understand. So earlier we have understood the definition and what it means, but anyways, we'll go through it once again. Any SEO implementation that's applicable for the complete website or set of web pages pertaining to a specific theme or format in general is a site level SEO. Theme is not a web page theme. Theme is basically any kind of activity performed again and again, right? Pertaining to a specific format is a theme. That's referred to as a theme, right? So now any SEO implementation that's applicable for the complete website or to group of web pages or set of web pages pertaining to a specific theme or format in general is a site level SEO. The template meta tags. So now we have discussed about the writing titles and descriptions.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you have thousands of web pages on the website, millions of web pages on the website, so you can have a template title and template description where only the product name. So let's assume you are dealing with fruits. Let's assume you are selling fruits online, right? So people searching the search terms would remain same, just the name of the fruit would change. Buy banana online, buy mango online. The mango is getting replaced with pomegranate or banana or maybe something else, right? So in this case, what we will do is we will not go writing titles and descriptions for all the few thousands of web pages. We would just create a template where in this template the fruit name gets replaced. The fruit name is the variable which keeps changing, right? So usually this will be coded like that on the website. There will be options or features for you to manage this template, or this can be handled in bulk on Excel sheets through formulas, and you can upload it in bulk. Okay, so we put that activity under site level implementation, right? If it is manually done, it's on page. It's still on page only, but then we are automating this process, correct? So breadcrumbs are the hierarchy indicators and help you understand the stage or level that they are on the website. You are on the product page. The product belongs to a category called women apparel, and this belongs to a department called apparel, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's the part of website: home page, apparel, women's apparel, and then maybe some other fashion wear or traditional wear or something like that. So now, though you are on any product page, but and you will be able to understand where are you on the website, correct? The hierarchy, correct? It's schema or markup language. It's the schema code that's implemented on your website or web pages, wrapping the respective type of information on web pages. So I'll give you an example for this. This helps bots to easily understand the information the way how a real user understands it. Okay. So for example, you go to a website selling textbooks, right? So what kind of information do you see for the book?
Application name.
PSIN number or some GS number something. Let me take you to a website which sells books. So publication identity numbers, the price of the book, the publisher name, right? The price of the book, the number of pages. See, if you take example of number of pages 500. We understand 500. The moment we see 500 next to the term number of pages, we understand that to be as number of pages.
Yes,
Rupees 350 rupees. We understand that as the price 350, correct? But what happens with the bot? Bot fails to understand the way we understand it, correct? Bot would read that number 500 as just a number, but never realizes or understands that 500 is the number of pages on the website. Are you all getting it?
Can you repeat it, sir?
So on a web page, let me go to the web page. Uh, Maybe engineering books, automobile engineering.
Let's just write for national books, sir. ITC book.
Let me bug. Not able to go to book section. There are books here. Let's go to a book. Yeah, ISBN. You see here 390.
Yes, sir.
By looking at this, we are able to understand this is price easily, correct? And usually for books, uh, ISBN, International Standard Book or something number, book number. BN is book number, International Standard Book number. Okay, so 390 as a price of the product. But when bot visits this web page and when bot is reading this web page, it never realizes that 390 as the price. Now, see, for example, let's say all of you here know some regional language and none of you knows English. Now, if I have to help you understand something, I may have to speak in the language that's understandable by you, correct?
Yes.
It could be Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Gujarati, whatever it is, correct? Hindi, English, Kannada, or Telugu, right? So, same way now, if I have to help bot understand this language, understand this information, the way how I understand or you understand, I have to use a language called schema markup. Okay, schema markup. So, as a digital marketer, you don't have to bother about it much. You just understand what kind of schema is applied. For books, there is a schema. For recipe, there is a schema. For product ratings and reviews, there is a schema. For events like movie tickets or some circus show is happening, for these kinds of events, see it's all information, correct?
Yes, sir.
All this information has to be communicated the way how we understand the bots, right? So now schema is one that's helping us. We are going to wrap this with schema. That's all. So now, when bot understands, see if it is not understanding, it treats this to be as a thin page, not of real great value. The moment you implement schema code to this web page, it treats this to be as a content-rich web page. Okay, content-rich web page. See, content-rich. Now with this, we also realize when bot is capable of understanding what a web page is, it's going to consider it to be as content rich web page, correct? So how do we implement that? We are going to discuss that as well, right? Okay, let me come back here. Yeah, so rich schema or markup language is the schema code that's implemented on your website or web pages, wrapping the respective type of information on web pages. This helps bots to easily understand the information the way how a real user understands. Schema implementations helps your web pages show the rich results, rich snippets on the search results. See, Google, when it understands stuff, when you implement schema code, then it understands it as a 5 star, and accordingly it starts displaying the information on Google as well. Right? It's not showing here. Maybe I'll take a different example because bot may have not read it in recent times. After review, bot has to read that website again. Canvafoods.com. Yeah, you see here star ratings.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Right? So even this information is coming through a schema called product schema. Right? This is example of product schema. Rating and review schema. Only rating and review schema can be applied, and product schema along with product you can have the rating and review as well. Only rating and review also can be applied to some pages. So I'll show you the scenario of only rating schema applied to sorry, it's not Canva, it's Canva digital. See, you don't see here in stock, out of stock because there is no product schema applied here. Here it is rating and review schema. I'll show example of the event schema. Maybe I'll have to show this to you in a different browser. So it's not going to display it compulsorily. Google search engine would not display it compulsorily. Okay. See, you are providing information, displaying there could be conflict in showing the results. It might or may not. Okay. So there is FAQ schema as well. So you must have seen sometimes below the text there will be questions and answers. Questions,
Yes.
not questions and answers. So that happens only when you implement FAQ schema on your web pages. Okay. So this way any information can be communicated properly, right? See, I am speaking so many topics to you, correct?
Yes.
Correct. I can cut short and can keep it simple, or I can put additional effort in explaining it much better, sometimes probably in the language that you speak as well. My main goal is I want you to understand it, right? So same way we can communicate any kind of information on the web page to bots through schemas. Okay. So schemas, now how do we understand? There is a website called schema.org. Okay. So here you search for any schema. So I have just put product. You will get to see the product schema here. So let me click on this. So product, it's the explanation around what all information is considered. So now you don't have to worry much about these are the different this is how it works. Is the schema is what they're explaining. The product for this is the kind of information that you have to provide if it's a product schema. What is that information? The information is product name, the image pertaining to that product, rating information, the count of the reviews, the product price, is it in stock or out of stock, and the product description and the reviews contents. Right? Now this is the text that's needed for product snippet. If you are implementing it, something like if you are entering to this movie theater, you're not supposed to carry your own snacks.
Yeah.
Some criteria, conditions, right?
Yes.
Some temples, mosques, everywhere you wash your hands, wash your legs, you wear certain kind of attire and get into it. So same way, this is a checklist. Like if you are traveling in a flight, there's a checklist. You are not supposed to certain things. Same way, if you want to implement product snippet, you need to have this kind of information on your web page. Even if it is not there, you have to provide this kind of information at least in the schema code that you're going to update. And that can be implemented in different formats. One is called as microdata, that looks like this, and RDFA, more or less it looks like the same. JSON, LD, these are the three different formats usually used by. This is the outcome. When you implement bots, read the information or understand it this way.
No, sir.
Yeah, this is JSON format, RDF format, and microdata format. So this developers understand better what are these formats. So now look at this, whatever you have shown here without markup. So this information is getting wrapped in a specific guidelines on the format. Like we understood HTML always starts with HTML tag and hence with slash HTML. After HTML, the next immediate tag is heading tag slash head less than symbol head and greater than symbol. And then it will have the ending tag as well, that will have slash head, correct? Opening tag and closing tag, we call it as. And after heading, there will be a body tag, correct? And within body, whatever you want, you can do it. And within head, you can add meta information that's hidden for real users but visible for bot search engines browsers,
Yes.
right? So same way here also there are guidelines. Compulsorily you have to add a tag. First tag, what is the schema type about? Item scope, item prop, and here this is a variable. This keeps changing. If it's a event schema, it will be event. If it is review schema, it will be review. If it is recipe schema, it will be recipe. Okay, but do not worry about any of these things, right? You don't even have to understand the flow of this. Just whenever you have to, whenever you identify the scope of implementation, or whenever you realize that is not implemented on the website, you just have to send this URL or copy this code and take an example of your product. Instead of Kenmore, your product could be banana. Start filling all the details for one of the product or one of the URL and provide that as an example to your website developer and ask them to implement it. A lot of developers to struggle understanding this because they would have never come across this in their life.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
See, this is something that which we are bringing in between. As a digital marketer, you are trying to educate the developer as well about these things now. Correct?
Yes, sir.
They don't care. Why should they implement this? Developer. Correct?
Yes.
So when we tell them, okay, boss, this is must needed for us because look at this. That's what is going to create an impact here. Look at this. It's going to display the information like this, and it plays a crucial role in CTR. Correct?
Yes.
We understood, right, CTR, there was a mention, rich snippets, implementation of schema code,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. That's what the difference it makes. It makes the page content rich. And here are different kinds of schemas. I have updated the references for breadcrumbs. Breadcrumb is also something like, see, breadcrumb I told hierarchy, but search engines don't understand that hierarchy until unless you communicate it with the data vocabulary or schema code, right? That's what the reference updated here, right? Some examples of different kinds of schema: product schema, review schema, rating schema, recipe schema, author schema, book schema, event schema, organization schema, and there are many more. See, for me, back to a decade, I was always assuming there is only product schema, because this community portal schema.org also did not have schema for all kinds of, it's something that's developers keep contributing over there, correct? As and when there is more information, see, today you know only there are 5 variations of COVID virus, let's assume. On the go, after few years, our kids might see there are 20 different variations, correct? Every year the bodies keep updating, correct, the medical authorities or whatsoever, correct?
Yes, sir.
The industry keeps updating, okay? So refer here for various kinds of schemas and their implementation methods. I have just shown you on schema website, okay? So breadcrumbs also same, just go through this link, or let's do this to have breadcrumb. You see here, first will be the home page position when they have written it as position 1, 2, 3, but it could be home page, apparel, women's apparel, right? This is another level
Sir,
again.
is it very much important to do SEO every day?
It's not that
No.
very much. See, good question.
SEO. SEO.
See, is it important to take? See, let's say you have some ailment. Listen, guys. Let's say you have some ailment. Is it important to take the medicine every day throughout your life?
When there is a problem,
When it is cured, you will stop it.
exactly.
Same way, when it is taken care, you don't have to do it.
No, sir, what I'm telling is, if you're not, like,
So I'll tell you, there are people who keeps through doing it throughout the life. I'll give you an example. That's why that was the first thing I explained it in today's class. The template meta attacks.
Yes.
People don't
Use that.
understand that they can. They don't understand. They don't realize. They cannot apply their common sense that they can automate it. Right? So we have built a platform called Skill Deck for training companies. Right? So it does work of 10 SEO professionals. Right? And most of the work is automated. You don't have to keep doing every day something. Maybe if you have to publish blog posts every day, you do blog posts. If you want to launch a new course, launch new course. If you want to announce new dates, you announce this. Or maybe what else? Backlink building. If you have to, if it is needed, you will continue to build backlinks. Or if you feel like to change the image, you must have put price as 30,000 rupees on image. You must have changed it to 40,000 now. Change that price. Maybe something like that can be done whenever it is needed.
Correct.
See, a lot of times SEO we feel like what is there next? Nothing.
that's what I'm
Because when things are all taken care, but your time, see, you have to give the time, but time changes the way that the kind of things that you do. There will be a shift from handling technical SEO or site level SEO. It might switch more of to content, auditing, reporting, analyzing data, interpreting data, right? And finding the new opportunities, research and understand the market, how market is changing, enhancing the web pages. So today you have assumed, you had made an assumption this communication will work super good. After interacting to 100 customers, you feel that's not correct. You might have to change the communication on the web page. Correct?
Yes, sir.
See, that's how you keep having the one or the other kind of work. Correct? So if you have 10 acres of land, if you are cultivating some crop, XYZ crop, After harvesting, will you keep quiet? Or after sowing seed, will you keep quiet?
No.
That doesn't mean that you should keep sowing the seed throughout the month, throughout the year, right?
Yes.
There is a shift of activities, but that doesn't mean there is no work at all. There will be work. Even after harvesting, farmer keeps working on the land. Like let's say he plans to get the manure for the next crop, he has to get ready with the land. Correct?
Yes.
He plows the land, he waters the land, he does different kinds of things. Same way in SEO, there will be different kinds of things to take care, and throughout the tenure also you can keep working on it. Just that the amount of work might come down, there will be shift in the work, or if you have reached that maximum saturation level, just it's going to be maintenance, right? For most of the clients, we work continuously for 3 years, 2 years, and we build an amazing portfolio. And post that, they don't need much of the work to be done, just a simple maintenance. So one such simple example is this one. Where's that? Yeah, one such simple example is Premier Agile. Where did that go? Yeah. So such examples I'll show you the different companies here. This is one such example. This is an example. This is an example. See, after 2 to 3 years of continuous effort, there was nothing much. It's all about now intelligence and how do they crack it. See now, is it not a stupidity? These people are showing 5 and these people have kept it as 4.5. Don't you think that's a negative thing?
It is a
Yeah,
negative.
it's a negative.
They are not realizing. They are not realizing. I had 20 to 50 such things which were actually negative for them. See, this is based on my browsing history, it's showing in the top. Otherwise, it will be bottom, down, right? My browsing history, I would have visited this quite often and it's showing me based on my browser cookies. See, look at this continuous 2, 3 years of effort and it came in the top. And there was so much of effort from our side. And now, if somebody takes over it, they feel like, what is that in this? See, building a house, and once the construction is done, and once your housewarming or home ceremony is done, maintaining is different.
Yeah.
Building is different, and maintenance is different. Correct?
Yes.
So we agencies mostly, and especially we are very good at building the platforms from scratch, their portfolio from scratch, because we understand we have deeper knowledge on implementing all of these things and what works and what doesn't work. We clearly understand, right? And it's all about now time. There is something called as incubation period for every website. As you open the website, it doesn't start performing consistently. You have to keep. It's not about working. It's about you have to do whatever is necessary for it. Okay. So this one also continuously for 3 years we did the best and we gave it to them, and this fellow couldn't maintain properly also. Some random digital marketer, they couldn't even maintain properly. Just for CSF training we had kept in the top 3 positions. It fell down. People people are incapable of just maintaining also.
So what kind of maintenance? Like daily, we have to put blocks or create patterns and all.
So
All that is
now, as per my understanding, you shouldn't be asking these questions when you understand how search engines work. You know the 3 key parameters, right? What makes a website to rank in the top,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah.
So now, if your website is falling down, it could be one of these 3 or all 3 of them,
Yes.
correct? Now, what will drop these 3 factors or at least one of these factors, correct? See, for them, for this company, let's assume we had initially guided as 5 rating and it would have been 5 always. Now, in the course of time, somehow it came down to 4.5. They never realized or never they thought of improvising it. Eventually, they'll fall down. See, this is something. See, when you understand it deeper, see now these people must be thinking, always we were ranking in the top, and now why we have fallen down? We don't know. And this guy, digital marketer, says, how will I know what Google? See, I had a senior, several years senior to me, and this fellow in the first company that I was working, this fellow used to tell me the same, manja, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕಣ ಮಂಜ ನನಗೆ 200 different signals ಇದಾವೆ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತದ ಬಿಡ್ತದ ನಮಗೆ. See, when they don't understand what matters the most, how search engines function. See, nobody had proper understanding how search engines function. See, what I have explained, these 3 metrics you will not find anywhere. Probably you might find videos now. That too, I am pretty sure if somebody is explaining this, there will be students here or team work with me anywhere along with my journey, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, on watching my videos, somebody might start reproducing it to a better version, right?
Yes, sir.
I bet you on this because that's the concept. What I have explained to you all, that's a concept made up by me to help you all understand.
Good.
Otherwise, people will tell build backlinks, quality content, lengthy content. You go and watch any video on internet. I'll bet you today, this is what people will speak. Of course, you have to do it, but why? I had given you a story, right? Climb to mountain every day, right?
Reason?
They don't know the reason, and son practices the same. Son says the same to someone who approaches him. Correct?
Yeah.
It's a utter failure thing. Correct?
Correct.
So same thing happens. See, what you are telling is correct. Do backlinks. Correct. Lengthy content. But you're not really understanding what is the lag over there.
Yes.
See, fixing the problem is super important. It's not about just doing blindly something. Correct, Sanjit? Yeah, coming back. So it's clear, right? Breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
rich
Yes,
snippets.
sir.
Yeah. Next is XML sitemaps. What are these XML sitemaps? XML is like schema is there, right? HTML is there, right? Same way XML. Okay, XML. ML is markup language. X is I'm not sure. XML full form. Hello. Extensible markup language. You all understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So extensible HTML is hypertext markup language. HT instead of HT it is extensible markup language. Even I don't know what is this extensible markup language because as a digital marketer, extensible markup language is a markup language that was designed to transport and store data in a specific format that can be processed by search engines, browsers. Okay, it's a specific extensible markup language is basically a specific format of storing the information. We actually give data in XML format several times to upload to the website, right? So same way, this particular file helps bots to understand. See, we have to communicate to bots, right? Whatever is there on the website,
Yes, sir.
right? Can I call, give a phone call? Can I call over phone or send a postcard to Google?
No.
No, right? I have to follow an approach or a process that's understandable by Google bots, correct?
Yes.
Correct? Right?
Yes, sir.
So now I cannot even do a nice creative like you must have seen this. People put hoarding, Anna, happy birthday to you. These politicians, banners, the most ugliest thing, irritating thing. They'll put big hoardings, complete roadside, right?
Yes, sir.
I cannot do something like that also, correct?
Yeah.
So if I have to communicate to Google or bots, I have to put it in a language that they understand or they feel comfortable, correct?
Yes.
Right? So for them, the XML format is the most preferred formats, right? So this is the file where we put list of all the URLs, list of all the URLs pertaining to your website. It's important, right? Bot has to know what all belongs to your website, correct?
Yeah.
It's like audit, the accounting audit, the financial audit, you know.
Yes,
We provide everything to the government. So if Canada Digital is doing an audit, Canada Digital has to tell them how many computers they have, how many chairs they have, what all assets they have brought, and what is the depreciation of the assets. The complete information pertaining to every single rupee spent and assets valuation has to be declared, right? So same way when you have a website, it's not compulsory again, but then by submitting this, you benefit, right? When you are providing list of all the URLs to Google supports, they start crawling or reading those URLs. They don't assure you. It's something like you go and file for an income tax returns. You might get the returns or may not get the returns. Correct? It's completely to the government.
Yes.
Correct? Same way you have response. See, Google was taking that very seriously back to a decade because Google had scarcity of resources. Now it's all in abundance, right? In this XML sitemap, we also communicate or tell we provide a couple of other details pertaining to every URL. See, for me, this URL is very important. So I will put it as priority 1. And we also update information such as when was last edited on that URL. When was the last change made on that web page? There is a page, apple or banana, some page. I must have changed some content or information on that page, correct? So I can provide those details as well. The page was last changed on 2nd February around so and so time, right? And one more thing, I can also provide how frequently the information changes on the web page. I can say it changes daily, it changes weekly, it changes monthly, it changes yearly, and it doesn't change at all. All these kinds of details can be communicated in XML sitemap. See, why are we communicating these details? Google's supposed to consider all these details and prioritize their crawling accordingly. When I say content is changing every week, correct?
Yes.
Won't it now start prioritizing crawling at least once in a week?
Yes.
Ideally, it's supposed to work that way, but we really don't know if they are really giving importance to it that way or not, because they have various other source or approaches or methods or their own logics or functionalities defined by themselves, and it's evolving every now and then, right? So this being the reason, so they will tell you there is a page in sitemap but still not indexed or not crawled, right? Just having it in the sitemap is not fine. They will just see it in the sitemap, but they will keep waiting until it gets crawled through other references. That's the reference. Sitemap is a reference sheet.
Okay.
Ideally, with this reference, they would have started crawling or giving importance to it. Now they just treat as a reference. Now, okay, there is a reference plus as well as the URL was also accessible within the website or from some other website, such as I must have put URL on the IRCTC, right? So basically, the sitemaps are the XML files that provide list of URLs to bots pertaining to your website, right? And it's completely to the Google's decision whether how it's going to use the data, right? Yeah. So this sitemaps has guidelines. Your sitemaps cannot contain. See, there are various kinds of sitemaps. See, any information can be provided to Google. The information could be your web pages. It can be video files or video URLs. It can be image files or image URLs. And your website can be about news. And news sitemap has different guidelines, right? So I'll show it to you all how it looks. Okay. Okay. So I have taken example of this. Take a look at this. This is how an XML sitemap looks like. Okay, so now this website has lot of URLs, maybe somewhere around 50,000, 60,000 URLs. So what we have done is we have broken down it into, we call this as index sitemap, and within the index sitemap you have different sitemaps. See, usually what people do is they put all the URLs, the sitemap.xml can be straight away in this format, correct? But since this website is massive, we have broken down it into multiple sitemaps, and we brought and updated all the sitemaps list here in this sitemap, index sitemap, and within that index we have child sitemaps, and each child sitemap has, it starts this way, URL set, XMLNS, and this is the what do you call that as the default text, like how schema for schema data vocabulary, or how for HTML it starts with just HTML. Same way it starts with sitemap.org, and I'm going to provide a URL here. Where is that URL located? Where is that content? See, the URL is nothing but URL full form is Universal Resource Locator. Okay, so where is that information sitting? The location. I'm telling the location. I'm starting with providing you. I'm telling that I'm going to provide you URL. Where is that URL sitting? That URL is sitting in this location, hence its location. Change frequency, we are telling that weekly. Weekly the information gets changed on the page. When was last modified? Last modified is today's date. This is all automated, right? This can be changed to daily also, or weekly, monthly, yearly also, right? And then priority, we are telling the priorities. Priority can be anywhere between 0.1 to 1.0, right? 1.0 or 1 indicates the URL is of highest priority for the business owner. Top level web pages usually, right? And eventually they bring down the priorities. So Google was considering that priority as well and was giving importance. But now people just put randomly point 0.9, point 0.1, sorry 1.0. They put everything 1.0 only.
So all this is happening.
This is automated. So when there is no automation in place, people do it manually. You can do something like this on your document and you can upload it to the root directory. You will be saving a file XML, a sitemap.xml. This is the file saved on your computer, something like this. Something like this, index.html, same way sitemap.xml, right? And you're going to upload that file to your root directory and it automatically starts after /sitemap.xml. Okay, you understood what a sitemap is?
Yes, sir.
So the first thing Googlebot does is whenever they visit the website, the first thing, it's like, how should I tell you? Okay, so let's say I like my kids a lot, let's assume. So when I get into the house, the first thing I would probably like to see is try to look for them. Where are they? Correct? So same way, Google, the first thing they do is they visit robots.txt. See, Google, if we get back to our previous discussions, we understood Google comes to the web, bot comes to not Google, bot comes to the website with some bandwidth, either in terms of time or either in terms of frequency. Now it is something like this. Let's say you are getting into a deep forest. If you miss the route, you will be in severe danger, right? You have to just follow the maps and go accordingly and reach the destination. What will you do now? Before, you don't want to risk, right? You don't want to risk and you don't want to get into any kind of trouble. So what will you do now? Before getting into it, you will start a map route. It's not about you creating. Let's assume there is a map already published. So just go through the guidelines, do's and don'ts, right? And then you follow it strictly, correct? Because if you commit any mistake, you will be into trouble, correct? Same way when bot is coming to the website, it has certain bandwidth criteria, correct? So what it does, it goes through the robots.txt file and understands where it has to spend its time and where not to spend its time, what to be crawled and what not to be crawled, correct? So this simple thing would avoid lots of wastage. Correct? It's like my dad is giving crores of money to someone. I'll identify, I'll figure it out, and I'll not let him to give. And obviously, it comes to me. Correct?
Yes.
Correct? Same way, same way, is your dad giving to someone? He's very happy about that statement. Related, excited. Okay. So now, bot same way when it's visiting your website, its energy would get wasted, right? So what we marketers can do is you can drop a robots.txt file, which is basically a list of commands to bot what's to crawl and what's not to crawl on the website. We're going to look into that now. Oh, sitemaps, I'll discuss. I'll finish off robots.txt, then I'll come to sitemaps. Huh? 12:30? Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So, we are working tomorrow. First Saturday is working, right? So, if you guys want to come, we can do the class tomorrow. Yeah?
We don't have